Welcome to the Vocations Ireland website. Regardless of whether you have come here to seek answers, ask questions, or simply out of curiosity on the religious way of life, we hope you can use it as a resource to assist you. Here, you will find information on the various religious orders, their charism, and what makes them unique. You will also find information on upcoming events and places that offer advice, reflection, and support. If at any stage you wish to reach out and contact us, please do. We would be more than happy to accompany you on your journey.
An exciting project and something that's been really, I suppose, trying to show the joy of consecrated life with a variety of different religious but also young people in this beautiful setting of St. Teresa's in Clarendon Street. So yeah, it's going to be a wonderful afternoon. It's going to be great.
Music is very important to my life. I'm studying it in college with theology, so it all links into this. Well, I don't think you can have music without religion and religion without music, so it's really important that people take part in it to keep the two going.
Because music probably is the best way to get younger people involved. Most young people love music.
Many young people today are searching for a new meaning and in their lives, and with groups like this, such as through music, they want to share their faith, deepen their faith, and have space really for them in where they can do that. And this event this afternoon, I think, highlights that very much.
I mean, to see that group that were dancing there today and the different, cultures that were involved, and to hear the music, I think it's wonderful. And especially in Ireland. Ireland is so steeped in music. And yet we forget sometimes to use that and to use that as part of our ministry. Instead, I think it's about saying to young people, come and see what we do, Young people, they love to volunteer, and sometimes they'll volunteer for a few months. It could be a year or 2 years.
Well, I do a work experience in Little Sisters of the Poor nursing home. I thought it was very joyful and uplifting and very positive atmosphere. It's a really good vibe.
And I think that's great. So Ireland has a lot more to offer for the church and to the church.
An acronym. It stands for Net Ministries, and we are an international organization. Ireland is its own umbrella of that, and so we go around to schools throughout Ireland and we do retreats, we start youth groups, we just kind of build up the community of young adult Catholics in Ireland.
The reaction has actually been incredible. It's better than I expected. Having grown up in Scotland and lived in Ireland for a while, I had a kind of a weird impression of how the youth would be with religion, but actually they're very open. As long as we're not presenting it as something that they have to do and just an option there for them, they've been very, very open. Everyone just wants to be happy, and if Jesus made us happy, it could make them happy also.
We give the space for youth to encounter religious and see that they're normal people, basically. We get a lot of great responses from them saying, I didn't know they were real people. I didn't know they went to shops. I didn't know they used to have girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever before they joined. And it just gives them a chance to see the humanity, just how real people are, even if they are religious. So it's a great experience, and everyone always enjoys having them with us.
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all these things, like, they can be a distraction for us. It's very easy to just while away your life on your phone and not think about kind of yourself and how you're doing internally and spiritually maybe. But at the same time, I feel like people feel a need for spirituality more because they feel that distraction. I know a lot of young people maybe give up their phone for Lent so that they can just be more focused on themselves. A lot of young people would do like a day or two kind of fasting from internet, just as a way of kind of being more in touch with their emotions. All of us want to be happy. All of us are searching for that peace that Jesus can bring to us. You know, Jesus has worked for millions of people over thousands of years. You know, give him a chance in your life. Just talk to him honestly. Allow your heart to be open, and you know, he will fill it with that peace and that joy that you're seeking.
I used to look at the website and I saw the link to Here, and that was the first time I discovered that Here existed. Then I sent them an email just saying I was interested. In that July I was due to start my study leave for my final accountancy exams, which would have been the end of August, and I got in touch with them and arranged to come for 3 days in August. Plus there was going to be a retreat, a big retreat in Knock, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, run by U2000, so it seemed a good combination. I'd come here, I'd see what here was like, and then I'd have the retreat time to pray about it and see whether it was real. So I came here and it just fitted. It just felt absolutely right. And it helped that Sister Niamh, who entered a year ahead of me, was here on her 4-week live-in. That's when you come and you just live with the sisters, just to see, you know, for 4 weeks. So she was here, so I met her. So the two of us were talking, and that was brilliant because it was meeting somebody who, my age, who had a religious vocation, who thought the same things were important, because up until that, I didn't think anybody was entering religious life.
At the end of the day, our vocation is fundamentally about desire for God through Jesus, and just that connection with Jesus. He can give you the courage to do anything, and he can fill you with the hope you need. I mean, our life is one of faith and hope and charity. So trust in the hope that he implants in your heart, and just find somebody who understands you at a level where you are, and trust that their advice is for your good.
If at any stage you wish to reach out and contact us, please do. We would be more than happy to accompany you on your journey.
For many religious orders, they work in many different countries. For example, our congregation, Sisters of Mary Reparatrice, we work in 23 countries around the world, in 3 different continents, and we work in various different ways. We work with the poor in community, we do personal development, work with children, we work in healthcare, whatever the need is where we are. So I have been in Peru, Madagascar, Mauritius, definitely joined the convent, see the world. For example, we have a volunteer program to Peru to build houses for the poor. We have a lot of young adults joining us in July, August for that. There are many local opportunities as well. So visit the website and you'll see there are many ways that people could give time and could spend time. Well, I would encourage every person, young and middle-aged, whatever, to explore what their path in life. For some, For the majority of people, I suppose, it's finding a partner, raising a family. For others, their call is single life, and for others, it's religious life, priesthood, brotherhood. And I can honestly say I don't regret 1 minute of my time in as a religious. It's been right for me. So I would encourage people to get in contact with Margaret in Vocations Ireland office, and she can put anyone in contact with other religious, and we help people to discern their path in life, whether it is to family life, single life, or religious life, priesthood or brotherhood.
I think it's important, that a human person finds what gives them life, what gives them joy, and a small amount of women and men will discover that religious life may be something they're attracted to. I'm very optimistic for young people in Ireland to find what gives them life, what finds meaning, what gives them meaning in their life. And I think they're the questions that most human beings are going to come to. The media and the secularized culture is not going to bring life, and sooner or later, they're going to ask those deeper questions about what's going to bring meaning to my life. Vocation is all about relationships. It's not, just a task or a direction or a job that we do. It's about relationships, and I think that's key, to keep that central to our vocation.
Everybody is called. Everybody is called. And yes, everybody is called in different ways.
It was sort of a gradual awareness, but it was no sort of, big flashing moment or anything.
They sometimes have this notion that somehow a voice is going to come out of the sky and going to kind of speak directly to you, or that something dramatic is going to happen.
So whether the call is to single life, whether it's to religious life, priesthood, missionary life, married life, all of these calls are equally special to God.
I sort of woke up one day and I said, God, I wonder is it priesthood?
Initially, when I was about 15, I became interested in prayer and what it meant. Gradually, I started thinking about religious life, but I didn't know any religious, so for me it was very kind of confusing, so I just kept it to the back of my mind.
When I was a child, I was a mass server. I was very interested in what the priests were saying when they came into the school. I was very taken by their kindness, by the way they treated people, and I loved what they did as priests, and I loved seeing them work as a priest, and that's what would have given me a sense of wanting to be a priest.
From the time I was very young, I was moved by the fact that a lot of people in life have it rough. I wanted, when I started out on a vocation journey, to do something with my life that would help people. What I say to people now is it's not the reasons why I joined that are important, it's the reasons why I stay. The reason why I stay is that after many years I do actually believe that somehow that God called me here and that it's right for me, and that along the way I've been able to do a bit of good for people.
When I left school, all I ever wanted to do was become a chef. and I had a very enjoyable time training, and I travelled quite a bit. When I was about 21, I would say, I was in Australia, and I found out there that I had a real deep longing just to go to Mass on a Sunday. Then I came back home and got back into the chefing world again. And then gradually I felt a sort of an unease about there was something more, some other part of my life that hadn't opened yet. I sort of woke up one day, it was quite, this particular part of the story was quite sudden. I said, God, I wonder is a priesthood.
So it's a little bit like falling in love. It can be a dramatic experience, or it can be a slow experience that you become convinced that a certain way of life is what you're called to, what you feel you ought to do.
How was the child? For myself, it's some sort of journey of discovery. You know what I mean? There's some sort of an attraction maybe to the life of priesthood, to the life of service or ministry. I think with a lot of people, maybe guys might get a glancing thought about priesthood and maybe put it aside and never think about it again, and that's fair enough. But for some, that thought never goes away. And I think that might be a sign of something happening deep within the person's heart or their soul.
I reached a point, I was 20, and I said, I will examine it, you know, jump in, take the plunge, and if it doesn't work out, great. And I had my plan B in place if it didn't work out, but I was very open to it because I felt in myself that the time was right. But like that discerning process continued throughout my formation. I mean, it wasn't that I was in, that's it. It had really important consequences for my life that I would make perpetual vows, you know, as a Carmelite nun. It was a learning experience, and discovering that, you know, the religious community I'm joining is full of very real, normal people, you know, which my family were kind of surprised and delighted at, like.
You get a sort of a rush of enthusiasm at the beginning when you feel called by Jesus to the seminary. The whole excitement takes over and you think, God, this is fantastic. And that continues when you come in naturally enough. And as the time moves on, what that call may be for you becomes clear. And what generally happens is you kind of come to the conclusion that yes, he's calling me to priesthood, or else that yes, he's calling me to something different.
No, it's very simple and all the rest. It's also to do with the please God on your wedding day when we have the marriage complete, we'll sign the civil registration.
I went into the seminary when I was 18, and some people say to me, God, that was very young, Paul. Like, sure, what did you know at 18? And looking back, I knew nothing. And yet, I didn't enter the priesthood at 18. I entered formation, and then I went through 8 years of training for priesthood.
People have to think, reflect, pray, discern over a number of years, you know, to really see is this where God is calling them, and that they have an energy for it themselves. I mean, you only want people going in who really have a passion to do this. So that takes time, as with any big decision in one's life. Obviously the ideal is a lifelong permanent commitment, but not everybody will be called to that, you say. And some, it may be part of their journey to explore it for a few years.
It's not time wasted. It will always stand to you. If they have a constant nagging feeling within them and a kind of a draw towards at least testing the water, I would say, see, is it the life for you? And, you know, give it enough time that you can, with all certainty, say, oh well, it's definitely not for me, and I'll never regret the fact that I tried it out.
Often it can be part of a journey to something else, you know, a crucial thing. You know, people who gain great experience and, I wouldn't think it was a failure at all. I think they were great guts, really. Great guts to come in and great guts to leave when they know it's not for them, you know.
Get away from the myth that anybody has certainty. Sometimes they have the notion that older people, or if you're a religious or a priest, you're kind of certain about everything. I'm certain about very little, actually, you know. There are days when I feel very agnostic, but But I come back to the basic thing. I do believe in the message of Jesus Christ, the message of the gospel about love and justice. At its core, the church is an institution that can have a marvellously humanizing effect on the world. And for it to work properly and to improve, we need also new vocations. I would really encourage people, men and women and so on, to consider religious life.
Do not be afraid. You know, just like John Paul II used to say.
Go for it. Have the courage to step out and give it a go, give it a shot.
For those called to it, there's huge fulfillment there.
I say just do not be afraid. Have a go, see where that takes you.
I think definitely chance it anyway, you know. Definitely, it's well worth trying.
I've never regretted it for 1 second, you know. Very fulfilling indeed.
Welcome to the Vocations Ireland website. Regardless of whether you have come here to seek answers, ask questions, or simply out of curiosity on the religious way of life, we hope you can use it as a resource to assist you. Here, you will find information on the various religious orders, their charism, and what makes them unique. You will also find information on upcoming events and places that offer advice, reflection, and support. If at any stage you wish to reach out and contact us, please do. We would be more than happy to accompany you on your journey.